Monkey.
Hello everyone, this is Codename Monkey back again with another Path of Exile video. Today I wanted to bring you another video for Expedition. This is going to be a part 2. I'm going to go in depth on a couple of things that I might have missed in the first one, and just general tips that I can point out to help you understand Expedition a little bit more. Now, I personally love Expedition. I think it's so much fun. Yeah, it's going to take you a little bit more time, but the content you get and the different things that you can do with the explorers, I just think is really cool and it's really neat. Now, in the previous one, if you watched it, we did talk a bit about Dannig and Tujen, and I will just bring up my atlas here to show you. I did make a few changes just based on this video. You'll notice in my last one, I had the atlas tree for scratching up the ground. That gives 90% increased chance to be led by Tujen, and I also had one for a notable quest, 65% increased chance to be led by Dannig. Now you'll see that I actually have it spec'd into Rog, and I'll explain that in a minute. Again, this gives 90% increased chance to be led by Rog. Now, you might be asking, okay, so why did you switch these two out? Well, I recently have been experimenting with Rog, with item crafting, and I have to say that I've gotten a few really good items, actually. And I just generally keep running out of his type of trade mechanic. So we'll go check out Rog so you can see what I'm talking about. So he has the order artifacts, right? And then to refresh his inventory, you need a scrap metal. I know in the last one I said the Rog currency. But this is what you use. So for this one, it's, you know, the lesser, greater, grand, and exceptional order artifact. And you'll even notice I have a lot of these three, but I'm lacking in the exceptional order artifact. So I'm just want to go through specifically in this video about logbooks, just to give you some more insight and background information. Now, one thing to keep in mind is each of these explorers have different factions. So for example, Dannig is Knights of the Sun, Tujen is Black Scythe Mercenaries, Gwennen is Druids of the Broken Circle, and then Rog is Order of the Chalice. Now, try and remember that because I'm going to go in more depth with the logbooks on that in a second. One thing you're going to want to look for in logbooks specifically is different implicit mods. So some of these might include a percentage increase to the number of Runic Monsters, a percentage increase to number of explosives, a percentage increase of explosive radius, and then it could be a percentage increase explosive placement range. Now, I personally like percentage to increase explosives and explosive placement range because, as you see in your logbooks that you'll be running, the area is fairly large. Now, one other thing to keep note of, especially in logbooks that I kind of pointed out in the last expedition video, is you want to check the area as soon as you get into the logbook. And this is what I mean by that. There's going to be certain areas that you can break open, like parts of the map, to where you get into secret areas with more loot. There's also a boss room in some of these logbooks and underground areas as well. So just keep that in mind when running logbooks. When you interact with Dannig to insert a logbook, obviously you would show expedition map. And I have 4 here, and I'll go into more in detail on these in a minute. So let's just put one in here. So as you'll see, there's different areas that you can go to for these logbooks. And it will say underneath kind of what the bonuses you'll get for these. So this is the different implicit mods. Now, the reason I told you to keep in mind the different factions, because this is going to be what will tell you the different types of artifacts you'll be getting in these logbooks. So for example, let's say you wanted to get mainly Rog artifacts. Well, Rog is part of Order of the Chalice. And so what you're going to be looking for in your expedition logbooks is one of, see up here, this one is saying Druids of the Broken Circle. And so I know this one goes with Gwennen. This one is Knights of the Sun, which is Dannig. And then this is another Druids of the Circle. So this is again Gwennen. So none of these have Rog in this particular logbook. And again, these are very specific, and I'll go more in depth on that. And even when you cursor over it, when you get a logbook drop, let's say you're running a map and then you come across an expedition and a logbook drops, it will tell you right off the bat which factions will be showing up in your logbook. And you can see at this second one at the very top, Orders of the Chalice. That means that this one will have a ROG area in the logbook as long as you run that section. And you might be asking, okay, well, when I'm on PoTrade, how am I going to be searching for this particular type of logbook? Let's say you just want to buy some because you're not getting them in your maps. Well, there's an easy way to check that as well. So we're going to head over to the Path of Exile trade window. And let's just search. I just put in here logbook, and you can just click here to put it in. This section here, the stat filter, this is going to be really important. So let's say you were looking for one that contains an area to where you could go in for ROG. You're going to want to just type order here. And it says pseudo here. It has logbook faction Order of the Chalice. So if you click on that and search, this is going to display every logbook that's actively for sale from people that are online, because that's how I have it filtered, in your current league that has ROG in these logbooks. And so same would go for if you wanted to have Dannig. So you would just type Sun. Again, pseudo has logbook faction Knights of the Sun. Search. These are all the logbooks with Dannig, so on and so forth. And so the reason I have these 4 in here is because I pre-bought one logbook for each individual faction. Now, I've already previously stated that I'm not a fan of Gwennen because I generally just don't gamble for items. I've tried it, don't get me wrong, but I just haven't had much success with that. What I've also noticed, you'll see there's different levels of logbooks, and I will say that it does make a difference. But also, if you're struggling with higher level logbooks, does that mean that you're going to get less stuff in the lower levels? No, not necessarily. It just means that the monster level is going to be lower and it's going to be easier for you to clear. So I'm just going to run this level 72 logbook just to kind of show you what I mean by that. So currently, for reference, I'm level 96, and so I shouldn't have any problem doing this logbook. However, that is not to say that I cannot die. So for this one, it has Black Scythe Mercenaries. So again, that's going to be Tujen. This is the one I'm going to want because I do a lot of trading with Tujen. He's the one that helped me get most of my currency early on in the league. And so if you're struggling with currency too, this is also a good type of logbook to run overall. Just keep in mind, again, with the Atlas, just spec into that Tujen has 90% increased chance to be influenced in your maps. Now, one other thing to keep in mind with those Atlas nodes is that doesn't mean that 9 times out of 10 Tujen is going to show up in your maps. That's not what that means. There's a certain percentage that each of these explorers will show up. And so let's say there's a 2% chance that Tujen will show up in your map for any type of expedition. Well, 90% of that 2% is going to be added on as an extra bonus. So instead of 2%, it's going to be almost 4%, and so on and so forth. So it just goes off of a percentage of the base chance that they will be put in your maps so that you can run the short expedition with them. And that's why you'll, more often than not, you will see Gwennen quite a bit because she has the highest chance of being spawned in your map at default. However, let's go ahead and just get this logbook checked in here. And let's run it. Again, I believe it was level 72. The first thing I'm doing is I'm looking at the map. I'm trying to see if there's any underground areas. I'm also trying to see if there's any bosses. Upon looking, I'm also looking for these little nodes here, and I'll zoom in so you can see. These are what give you your currency. So these are the main focus. If there's no bosses, if there's no secret rooms, if there's no side rooms, these are what you're primarily looking for. Because if you're lacking in a certain artifact, I know I keep calling them currencies, but what I mean is artifacts. So if you're lacking in those exceptional ROG artifacts, for example, or those exceptional Tujen artifacts, these are what will give you the chance of getting more. So what I'm doing is I'm planning my route. I know there's 3 down here. There's 2 up top, 3 up top. There's also these chaos chests, which that is for currency. So those are also good to hit. And you'll see down here at the middle bottom, you have 18 detonators that you can place. That kind of goes into more explosive range. Will have a bigger radius, circumference, and then you can also get more percentage of explosives. So you'll have more than 18. But for now, I'm just going to do this quickly to show you guys. And again, keep in mind these monster markers. These will spawn the rare pack monsters that also have a chance to drop the artifact that you're looking for as well. And so, and kind of piggybacking off of the other video, monsters grant 80% increased experience. Again, this isn't super helpful to take this, but since it's kind of in the radius of this currency node, I mean, it doesn't hurt to take it because you have to place it there anyways. So I'm just going to path over to the different chests for artifacts as well as currencies. Keep in mind, again, the gold text immune to lightning damage. I use mostly cold, so that's not going to affect me too much. Okay, so we have that. Okay, and I'm actually going to round back because I want to get those 2 currency nodes as well as all these monster markers. And again, as I mentioned, the implicits, there might be some that also give you more monster markers, more chest markers, more remnant markers. These are remnants, these things here. So that's what it means. I typically don't like to look for that one specifically just because it doesn't help me a whole lot. And as you can see, I'm already out. I thought I could have like maybe 1 or 2 more, but I wasn't quite counting. But it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. You're never going to be able to get the whole map. But that's why you want to get as much value out of this map as you can, or this logbook. So we're just going to go ahead and start, and we're going to see what all currencies we can get for Tujen. By currencies, I mean artifacts. And this also gives us chances to have a drop of that item that re-rolls his inventory as well. So, and there's some there, the exotic coinage. That's for Tujen. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of monsters, and since it is lower level, I am not really struggling to kill these things. You'll notice that I do go melee mode sometimes. These are my weakness here, the ones that are in bubbles, because I have to actually go in there to deal damage to them. Okay. And one thing I may have mentioned in the first video is I like to try and keep up with the explosions. That way it's easier to clear. I don't have to go back and re-clear things. A lot of people might just start opening chests, and that's fine if that's the way you do things. That's just not how I do them. I want to try and open up all the chests after I've cleared the map. And what I do is I'll go backwards more or less. So that was the last one. And so what I mean by going backwards is I'll start here. See, it just gave me some of those artifacts there. This is a big cluster of things. This is gonna be good. And I did see those 2 exotic coinage, I believe, so that was good. I'm hoping to get some more, but I'm not gonna hold my breath because it's not a for sure thing. Ritual splinters. Golden plate, I already have one of those. So here's the 2 exotic coinage, so that's good. That will allow me to roll through his inventory 2 times to get potential good currency like the divine orbs, or even a bunch of chaos orbs. And also one of the biggest things you're going to be looking for in Tujen's inventory specifically is stacked decks, and it goes up to 10 at a time. There's been times where I've rolled his inventory so many times that within a 5-minute period I come out with like 80 or 90 different stacked decks. So while we're here, we're just going to haggle and just kind of use... Oh, I have 6 apparently. We're going to see if we can get a divine. So okay, so this is what I was talking about. So here's 10 here. I'm definitely going to want to get these. Okay, that's good. I like getting these maps as well just because let's see what the current value of this is. So this is going for 12 chaos right now. So this is also something else. Even if you're not going to run the map, it's something that you can get to add to your overall income. This I would normally get, but since I'm out of these, I am going to get one of these. And this helps you get stacked decks as well. Incubators for your armor, weapons, and jewelry. Okay, so we'll go ahead and roll past. I could get this one actually. This Gilded Scarab here. This one is going for 5 chaos. I'm just going to go ahead and skip it for now.
Shiny coins.
Okay, so you always want to get chaos when they show up. There's not really anything else I want there. I do want these essence. I typically like getting essences when they pop up. Okay, nothing really else I want there.
Yeah. I don't think so.
So the chaos. This thing here is actually going for about 9 chaos right now, the ancient orb. So I do want to pick this up. Okay, there we go. I've never seen this gem before. Let me see. Okay, that's not worth anything.
Shiny coins.
Ooh, this has got to be worth something. This divine blessing support. Okay, so since at 20% quality, this is a 10 chaos to 18, 19, 20 chaos gem. So I am going to want to get this as well. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get that.
Be reasonable. You caught me on
Okay, get that as well. And keep in mind, for people that don't have things like this, a lot of these, a lot of the scourings, a lot of the alchemies, a lot of the chromatic, a lot of the alterations, definitely get these. The only reason I'm skipping these is because I have a lot of these. So I wouldn't advise that, especially if you need them. So just remember to pick up anything that you need. This map, you're going to get plenty of map drops. There shouldn't be a reason for you to get that unless it's a special kind of map. So unfortunately, we didn't get a divine orb, but that's fine. We did get some other things. And here's just a little peek of the things that I did get from Tujen. And again, this is just from those 5 exotic coinage and the artifacts that I had. And so this is really good. So if you have like 15, 20, 25 exotic coinage, there's a lot of different things you can get. These 10 stack decks here, if you just plan on selling them, these are actually going for 2.5 chaos each right now. So just off of that, that's 25 chaos right there. Again, this is 9, so that's like 34. This is 10, so that's 44. This map here is 12, so that's 56. So, you know, just adding this up, these things do make a difference. And this is a good way for you to get currency. So just keep that in mind as well. That's why I like Tujen so much. I'm just kind of branching out and I'm trying to do different things with Rog. That way I can see if I can continue making good items with him. If I find that it's just not worth my time, I will go back and I will just spec back into Tujin and Dannig. For now, though, I am going to run just one more here and then we can wrap it up. So this one, this is the Dannig map, so I want to save that one. These two both have order, which is the one for Rog. So let me plug this one in here and see what we have for benefits on these. Area contains increased number of runic monster markers, increased explosive placement range. Area contains 28% increased number of monster markers. Okay, and then this one has increased explosive placement range. That's good. Area contains 11% increased monster markers, and then increased explosive. Increased explosive radius. So this is the one I'm going to go for just because it gives me increased placement range and radius. This is going to give me the biggest bang for my buck, at least in my personal opinion. So this time we have 20. Let's just look at the map. Again, first thing I'm looking for right up here, we have an underground entrance here. So we are going to want to map towards that. And I'm currently looking for these little chests here for the currencies or artifacts, as I mentioned. There's one just right here. And so I'm going to put that there. And I'm just going to start working my way up here. Okay, that covers those two. Covers for that. And I can get the cave and the currency node here. That's good. So now I'm going to start heading north. Northwest, rather. Okay, so that one's already covered. You can see because it's highlighted green. Just keep in mind to watch out for that so you don't double cover an area. Okay, there's nothing up there of value for me, at least. this is why radius is good too, because it increases the circumference in order, and it helped me get both of these things in one explosive device. So let's just keep going. I am going to be able to make it because of the range. So we'll just get this cluster because it has the artifact. We're going to get this cluster. Ooh, here's 2 more. Nice. So this is actually a really good map, and I'm glad I chose this one because this will allow me to get quite a bit of artifacts. Hopefully I can get some exceptional ones as well. I've pretty much hit all of the exceptional nodes, and so kind of what I'm doing is I'm just using the rest of my explosives. Okay, so there we go. Let's just go ahead and detonate this, and let's see how much we can get from this. Since this is a higher map tier, we are going to be more careful. Obviously, if you're a projectile build, you always want to keep moving at least a couple of seconds after you start the fight, because you never know if someone is about to slam you with an ability off screen, and so that's why you should always be like moving to make sure that that doesn't happen. There's been a lot of times where I've been one shot because I just get slammed, and you know, after the fact I don't understand what happens, but then I think about it and then I go back in, I'm like, oh okay, so they just have a ranged ability that hit me off screen, and that is going to happen. That's why it's always good for you to move. So shoot, move, shoot, move, shoot, move, shoot, move. That's kind of what I'm doing here, as you can see. And then there's some that are just melee like this, and you can just kite them. See, he would have stabbed me there had I been in the way for that. So that's another reason why you want to keep moving. And it just takes practice, you know. You're not going to be good at it at first, but after a while, it's going to be like riding a bike. It's going to be muscle memory, and you'll get better and better at it over time. So yeah, don't sweat it. I still die a lot. I know a lot of the OGs and some of the big streamers and big names in this genre of game that still die quite a bit. Not gonna point the finger at anyone, but it's just part of the experience. It's part of the game. It's part of learning. You know, when you die and you keep dying, you start to learn why it's happening, and so that's where you have your growth. That's where you get better at the game, and it does take time for you to learn those things. You know, you're gonna fail a million times before you figure out how to make the correction. So again, we're just gonna go backwards here. We're just going to pick up in reverse order. I'm trying to look for, okay, so there's 30 exceptional. That's really good for me. Exceptional is mainly used with ROG with upgrading modifier tier values of items and weapons. So like let's say you have an item and ROG rolled you a tier 2 or a tier 3 modifier for a suffix or a prefix. There's sometimes where he will upgrade the item and it'll say upgrade the tier modifier of 3 of the modifiers, and so it might do it at random, like maybe one of the prefixes and 2 of the suffixes. But there's also other set values that they upgrade. It'll say upgrade the numeric values of all suffixes, and what that does is it gives you a chance to get closer to the maximum number. So if it says, you know, chaos resistance from 20% to 25%, it says 21%. Increasing or changing the numeric value of that will give you a better chance of getting to that 25% rather than staying at 21. So it's just little things like that. That's why I'm experimenting with ROG, because I want to see what items I can get. Oh, look there. Nice. Oh man, this is actually unexpected. Oh man, I was just talking and explaining things, and there it is right there. That's what we do it for, boys. The divines and girls, you know, everyone watching, you know, we don't discriminate here. Just be yourself, enjoy the show, sit back, get some popcorn, enjoy the death fest that is this Path of Exile channel content. So that was a pretty straightforward one. Super cool that we got the divine. Kind of makes up for rolling those Tujen inventories. And I'm just going to show you real quick with ROG kind of what I'm referring to. So let's see. We got to pick something that's decent here. I'm trying to find an item that's semi-decent that we can just kind of get better stats on. Let's just try on this one. So you buy the item, right? And it brings up this window. And this is where you can upgrade the item. So this one upgrades the level of a single modifier to its highest tier. So what that means is these modifiers on the right here how it says tier 9, tier 5, tier 3, tier 5. This is going to upgrade one of those to tier 1. And it was the fire resistance, so now it's at 48% fire resistance. That's really good. Add a suffix modifier 3 times, but only keeps the best outcome. So he's going to roll a suffix 3 times, and whichever one is the best, that's what he's going to give you. Okay, so that's good. A tier 2 life regeneration. That's a good one. Upgrade the level of 2 modifiers by 1 tier. So hopefully this can upgrade the life regeneration to tier 1, but we'll see. Okay, it didn't. So now he's wanting to take out the max health and the armor. I'm going to go ahead and do it because those tiers are just god-awful. He's going to re-roll them 6 times, keeping the best outcomes. So let's see what we can get.
I recently received a full
Okay, well, it gave me increased armor percentage and armor again. So now he's wanting to add a prefix 3 times to keep the best outcome. Okay, rarity of items found. That's okay. Modifier values of a single modifier. So this is, again, let's look at that increased armor percentage. So if it picks that one, it's going to re-roll it to potentially a higher value. So right now it's at 82. It could roll it up to 91%.
It's your lucky day.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. So it's wanting to remove these 3 prefixes. I'm going to do it because overall these aren't that great in my opinion. Just keep in mind also, if you ever skip a tier, it even tells you here, the next upgrade that you choose is going to be 50% higher. So never want to do this unless it's something like he's trying to remove like maybe if you have 3 good suffixes or 3 good prefixes and he's trying to remove those or re-roll them. That's typically the only time you're going to want to skip it. And if there's another one right after that where he tries to do it again, just take the item. Because it's not going to be worth him re-rolling or removing those good stats to try and get something else. It's just a waste of your time, and it's going to brick the item. So right now he's re-rolling the modifier values of a single modifier. Okay, so this brought us up to the 19% increased life regeneration rate. That's really good. This is going to be the last upgrade, and then he'll give us the item. He's just going to add a prefix modifier, so hopefully we get something good. Okay, good. So he gave us a life prefix, so that's good. Obviously it's not tier 1, but that's still really good. So now you can see this item. It's got life regeneration rate, which is a tier 2, highest it can be, a tier 2 life, tier 4 cold resistance, and then a tier 1 fire resistance. So just kind of checking these stats briefly. It looks like there's only 3 with these exact stats on the market right now. The lowest priced value of one of these is 2 divine. Now, obviously, you might not even get 2 divine for this item. I'm just letting you know what the lowest priced item of these specific stats are on the market right now. And another good thing about this item only having 4 modifiers in here is you can bring it into the crafting bench. And obviously, we don't have any room for another suffix. But these prefixes we can add in here. So if you're a projectile build, for example, or an AoE build, you have this opportunity to come in here. It gives you +1 to socketed AoE gems, or +1 to the projectile gems, +1 to the melee gems, etc. So there's a lot of opportunity with crafting when it comes to Rog, and that's why I'm kind of exploring the options with him to see kind of what we can get from there. And then I'll just show you real quick before we get out of here the end result of Rog as well. Now, obviously, this isn't going to be something that happens every time. Oh, wait, you know what? I'm sorry. We forgot to go into the underground area. Ah! I got too ahead of myself. Man, I'm glad I realized that. Let's go check out what we have down here. Oh, wait. Never mind. I'll be over here if you need me. All right, well, that's pretty much going to wrap it up, guys. Again, I just wanted to give you some more details on Expedition. It is one of my favorite pieces of content in the game. I will continue experimenting with different things. Maybe we'll explore the different gambling options with Gwennen. Like I said, though, I've had really bad luck with her, so I don't know if that's going to change just because I have a lot of her reroll currencies, things like that. So you can see I have 393. Not to mention a lot of her fragments or artifacts, rather. I have a lot of them. As you can see, I don't really do anything with Gwennen. So I don't know. Like I said, maybe we'll explore that some more. But for now, Thank you so much for watching. This is Codename Monkey, and I hope you have a good rest of your evening. Bye-bye.